Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining my presentation on culturally sustaining and asset-based dispositions. My name is Isabella Bryden, and today we will be talking about asset-based dispositions, which is providing access to dominant practices while sustaining home and community practices for students. There are 4 pieces of this that we are really focusing on, and that is asset-based behaviors and expectations, integrated instruction in disciplinary language and content, targeted and explicit language instruction, and then assessing and monitoring feedback. The 5 practices that we will be going over today is student introductions, Pledge of Allegiance, cultural holidays, around the world lessons, and community gathering. So the first one that we're going to go over is student introductions. So with this, educators can identify students' funds of knowledge by having students write essays about their backgrounds, do presentations about their interests, or create projects that represent their family heritage. This allows us to identify our students' cultural backgrounds and incorporate that into our curriculum. This can be done through having formats that we provide our students where we say, okay, I want you to draw and decorate a flag of where you're from and include a picture of your favorite meal or cultural clothing. Then I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, right? So these are common icebreakers that we see implemented into classrooms all the time when we're introducing students to one another and also trying to get to know our students ourselves. And this has that impact on emergent bilinguals because it allows them that opportunity to say, this is my culture, this is my language, and then we as educators can use that knowledge to further modify our curriculum to make them feel more included and supported culturally. Our second practice here is the Pledge of Allegiance. In America, it is very, very common and mostly standard that we say the Pledge of Allegiance when we come into class and we begin the school day. So, by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in both English and other prominent languages in schools, we allow our English language learners to participate in our cultural practices without isolating them or forcing them to change the way that they operate within their own culture. So, for example, I've included the Pledge of Allegiance here, and I'm going to play a clip.
Prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la República que representa una nación ante Dios indivisible con libertad y justicia para todos.
All right, so as we can see from that video, they have not changed the American Pledge of Allegiance. They have just recited it in Spanish, which is a very, if not the most common secondary language in schools, especially in Arizona and where I'm from, which is Oregon. So if we do this with our students who not only speak English and Spanish, but then we start to incorporate other languages as well, such as Arabic or Russian, it allows people from other cultures who are trying to learn our culture and be integrated into our community to participate in a way that is respectful to both us and them. Our third practice is holidays. So in America, a lot of the common holidays that we celebrate in schools are centered around Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, the 4th of July, although that's in summer. So not only should we be incorporating our holidays, but finding out what holidays are celebrated from our students, such as Hanukkah during the Christmas holiday time, or Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead for Hispanics. Also making it a point to celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month, International Day of World's Indigenous Peoples, and other holidays as such for students who are prominent in our classrooms. because it makes them feel like their culture and their heritage is still important and just as important as ours. We cannot expect students to participate in our cultural practices if we do not celebrate theirs as well. We don't want to isolate them or take away from their culture, and that's the whole point of asset-based dispositions. So, our our fourth practice is around the world lessons, and this is just exposing students to other cultural practices when teaching them theme-based curriculum. So, for example, a couple things that I threw in here: sports. We often refer to football, as is spoken in Portuguese and originated in Portugal, as soccer. So if we are teaching students in gym class how to play a game of soccer, making an effort to let them know where that originates from in Portugal and what it's actually called in other countries. Similarly, if we're teaching art and we're teaching the theme of patterns, we can start to incorporate African culture and teach them about kente cloth, which is a type of cloth that's often made based on different patterns, and each color that's incorporated into that cloth has different meanings. Furthermore, if we're teaching music lessons in music classes, we teach them different types of instruments that are used in different cultures, such as the flutes that are used in native cultures and different genres of music. If we teach where rap originates from in jazz and classical music, why aren't we incorporating Hispanic music as well, or music from other cultures? And then finally, our fifth practice is community gathering. This would look like coordinating community events to allow students and families to come together and celebrate their heritage and their cultures. So by doing this, we're exposing our students to other types of cultures, and allowing them to feel celebrated and included, and then also making them feel that pride of their heritage and pride in their culture, sharing different foods from their cultures if we're doing a potluck for that family event where each student brings a dish from their home and their culture that they eat frequently, wearing the type of dress that they wear for their community and their culture at home, or even going as far as having a cultural fair and allowing students to create an entire project that is celebratory of the culture that they originate from, and allowing students and their families to come together as a community to celebrate one another and educate one another about where they come from, so that they feel like they're still rooted in their culture and can still integrate into ours without losing who they are. Here I did include the resource that I used in one of my previous slides, and thank you so much for listening to my presentation.